Hey everyone, welcome to the StudyNT series. My name is Amy Hetherington, and this is a series of videos to help international students in Darwin prepare for jobs and opportunities up here in the north. This episode is about how to do a great job interview and to feel confident about talking about yourself. Before we get into it, make sure that you download the worksheet because there's a bunch of activities on that are going to help you really actively work through this content, and it'll make you even better at that job interview. First question, what is a job interview? Answering this question can really prepare you for doing the best in that space. The goal of a job interview is to see if you fit. Do you have the right skills, the right background, the right personality and the right energy to be a part of that team and for that workplace? In this video and on these worksheets, we're going to be looking at ways to make sure that you can really get your head around how to present yourself well in a job interview, and more importantly, feel confident about talking about yourself.
Hey, first thing I want to say is congratulations. Have you taken a moment to feel proud that you have a job interview? Even getting a job interview is a positive sign. It means that out of everyone that applied, the employer thought you might be a good fit. They've looked at your resume and they already like you well enough to bring you in for an interview. Take some confidence in that. That's huge.
In the job interview, you should know your resume like the back of your hand. What are your unique selling points? What are your strengths? What makes you stand out from the other candidates going for that job? Even more important, who are you and what is your story and what makes you a good employee? Those kind of unique characteristics are things that are going to help you stand out and be remembered after that job interview is done. In episode 1 of the StudyNT skills series, we looked at how to identify your strengths and unique selling points. If you haven't already done that, now's probably a good time to go back and check that one out. It's your responsibility in a job interview to show the interviewee that you can come in and do the job. Speaking intelligently about your past experience and past opportunities is a great way to demonstrate that.
One of the most common questions you'll get in a job interview is the infamous, "So, tell me about yourself." Don't panic on this one. All the interviewer wants is to understand a little bit about your context and what sets you apart. Pick a few interesting things or key drivers that inspire you and keep it nice and simple. A nice formula to use here is on the screen. I am, your name. I think of myself as, some descriptive words about some of your strengths. I'm currently, something about what you do at the moment. It could be related to work or study. I chose this field because, what drives you and why is it your passion? I live in Darwin and spend my time. What are some of your hobbies or unique selling points?
The more you know about the job you're applying for and the organisation you're applying with, the better you're going to do in that interview. That background knowledge will help you prepare answers to potential questions and make sure that if they ask you about your background or why you want to work for that company, you feel comfortable and really excited to answer that question. I'd start by stalking, not in a creepy way, but getting online and having a look at everything I can about that organisation. Check out their website and their social media. Do they have a blog even talking about their recent projects? Do that active research in finding out about that company, about the people you're potentially going to work with, and how your particular skills are going to fit into their current story. Also, doing research on the website and social media means that in the job interview, you'll already have a sense of curiosity about that organisation, and it'll make you a more engaging person to interview. And you've also got to know the job description. That piece of paper that says what they're looking for it's the key, it's the most important thing. Understand that job description. Pull it apart, take out the key things that they're looking for. What do you need to prove? Have that already ready before you jump into that job interview. Because if you can match your skills and your background and your personality with what they're looking for in that job description, when they're asking you questions, it's an easy tick from them. If you check out the worksheet now, there's some questions there that help you really understand an organisation and a job description. So maybe go and do that. There's a really great method for answering questions in a job interview called the STAR method. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Trust me, it really helps to think about things in this method. So say you get a question, something like, tell me about a time you've used initiative in the workplace. You can make sure that your answer is articulate, clear, and concise by using STAR. So for example, the situation. What was the time you used initiative? What context is important? Task. What are the details of what happened? Any stats, information, supporting evidence? Action. What action did you take? How did you make a difference in this situation? And result. What was the outcome? Why are you proud of this example? Also, the aim when answering questions in a job interview is to have a conversation. You shouldn't feel so stale and controlled by question, answer, question, answer. You can allow a conversation to flow. Remember, as much as they're checking your skills and your background and your experience, they're also seeing if your personality is a good match for their company. So my advice, have a bit of a chat. You're aiming for around 2 to 3 minutes for some of those responses to the questions, but then you can also follow up with a bit more of a conversation with them. Ask them some questions in amongst it. The more organic and natural it feels, the more they're likely to see you as the person that's going to fit in that workspace. Also, don't feel pressure to answer a question straight away. You can take a moment to gather your thoughts and make sure it's the right information that you're sharing. There is nothing wrong with a pause, and there is nothing wrong with saying, oh, hang on a minute, let me just remember the details of this. I think when it comes to a job interview, people are more interested on the information and the right story rather than you being really good at selling all the time. Authenticity is the most important tool you have in a job interview. Check out the worksheet now for a really great activity about how to use the STAR method to answer questions. You might have worked out by now the best way to demonstrate that you're a good fit for a job is to show what you've done in the past. So it's really important that before you get to the job interview, you have some great examples to use to explain your strengths, your skills, and your capacity to be a good employee. One of the best things you can do to prepare is to have those examples organised. Flesh them out, think about it. What's the chronology and the information of those examples? If maybe you changed a workplace in the past by improving systems or making things safer or by building team camaraderie, if there's a beautiful example of that, make sure that you understand all of the information about it. Because when they're doing the job interview, they're going to ask you about it. And the more additional information, the more passion you have for it, the better you're going to do at convincing them that what you learnt from that experience is going to be useful in this next job. Spend some time brainstorming your career history. Think about all those moments when you go, oh, I was proud of that work, or oh, that made a real difference. The better you understand those kind of things, the better you're going to be at remembering those examples when you're doing the job interview. One of the challenges of a job interview is you can sometimes blank a little bit because you're trying to think about all these different examples and all this different information that you want to share with your potential future employer. But the more time you spend preparing and understanding those examples, the less likely it is to have that blank moment. And the most important thing about these examples is you need to show what the link is between them and the job that you're applying for. What exactly did you learn from that experience that is going to make you great at this next job opportunity? Always think about that link, because if you can show that link, that means that you are a good fit.
Look, when you're starting out your career journey, you might not have a lot of experience to pull examples from. Don't panic, we all start somewhere. Use other relevant experience, like perhaps something you did at university, as a part of a volunteer organisation or a club. The goal is to illustrate your ability to do the job. And if that's through something a little different than a workplace example, that's absolutely fine.
When you're preparing for a job interview, spend some time on logistics. Think about where you're going to park on the day. What time are you going to arrive? Generally, about 15 minutes before the job interview is the goal. Other things to think about with logistics are what are you going to do before that job interview? How are you going to prepare yourself? I strongly recommend doing something that makes you feel good or that lifts your confidence before that job interview. Have a chat on the phone to somebody that's going to make you feel good. Anything to boost yourself beforehand. Try to avoid any of the stress at the beginning of the day so that you start really good, yeah? Take it easy that day. Prepare yourself for the job interview. Don't find yourself running out of time and running into that job interview already stressed and flustered, yeah? Give yourself space. And then think about what you're going to do after the job interview. I always recommend rewarding yourself afterwards so then the job interview feels like a positive experience. The more job interviews you do that are associated with something fun afterwards, the less scary a job interview is going to be. You'll probably even start looking forward to it. Again, on logistics, think about what you're wearing. Have that prepared and planned before the job interview, before you get there. On what you're wearing, make sure it's appropriate. The goal here is to find something that matches with the culture of the company, which you might have found out when you were researching them, but also more towards the slightly more professional look rather than casual. You want to go in and make a good first impression. Make sure your clothes are clean. Even more important, make sure that they're comfortable. Because the more comfortable you are in what you're wearing and you're not thinking about something being wrong with the outfit or your body language because of that, you're going to make a better impression. Be well groomed as well. Like, we know what Darwin's like. It's a pretty hot and sweaty place. So make sure that you arrive early to be in the comfort of the air conditioning. Make sure that you've done deodorant and cleaning, brushed hair, all of that kind of thing. It's really important to have that kind of presentation to show what kind of an employee you'll be in the future. And your body language says a lot about you in a job interview. The way that you move and the way that you hold yourself and the way that you speak will signify a lot more than the actual words that you say. So a couple of things to remember. Smile during the job interview. It's really good. It also releases those endorphins into your brain to tell you that what you're doing is a good thing. So smile. I would also take my time and breathe. Breathing is really good for that relaxation and for the resonance of your voice. And think about what your body language is doing. Shoulders back and straight, yeah? Lean in a little bit during that interview to show that enthusiasm and that interest. Use your hands to gesture, but try not to fiddle. If you're somebody that tends to fiddle or play with things, try to keep your hands still, yeah? You want to make sure that your hand gestures have a purpose and that they're not everywhere. The body language that best shows your enthusiasm is one of genuine curiosity and excitement to be there. So maybe in your preparation, practice in front of the mirror.
Your body language can actually create confidence. Try this. Sit up straight. There's your shoulders back, chest out, eyes forward, and smile. Go on. Think about your posture and how strong you are. Feel good? Now, try slumping those shoulders, lowering your eyes and frown. Changes the way you feel, doesn't it? Our physical actions can affect our mental experience. It's worth remembering.
Groundbreaking thought, but have you ever stopped to think that in a job interview, it's legitimately just you and your potential future friends in a room? Like, if you end up working at this company with the people that are interviewing you, you'll probably have some sort of friendship or relationship with your fellow colleagues. And those people in the room are potentially your future colleagues. So it's really important to build rapport with them while you're in the job interview. Make it a little more human, because that's a great way to be remembered. And the better impression you make and the more relationship and connection you build with the people interviewing you, the more they're going to be able to see you working with them one day. The tips to create those kind of connections are asking genuine questions, allowing yourself to be curious about the people in the room, but also the company where they work and the work that they do. Ask interesting questions, talk to them about their experiences, lean forward when you speak and make direct eye contact. Enjoying it can be an interesting thing to think about with a job interview, right? Because there's a bit of stress with trying to prove that you're a good candidate and to remember all your stories. But honestly, the more you throw yourself into that moment and be present and appreciative of the opportunity to share your story and to potentially be an employee at this space, you're going to have a better connection with the people that are doing your interview. Really focus on finding something in it that you enjoy. Do you enjoy the challenge of presenting your skills? Do you enjoy connecting with other people? Find something in there that you can reframe and enjoy about that experience, because the more you're enjoying it, the more likable you're going to be, the more your body language is going to be in a positive manner, and the better impression you're going to leave. Following up is also really, really important after a job interview. Sending an email to say thank you for that opportunity and maybe something that you learned or something that was quite interesting. It's a really nice thing to do because, one, it shows that gratitude, and two, it shows how eager you are for that job opportunity, so that's really important for them to know. And three, it puts your name in their minds again. So following up is a great thing to do, but don't overdo it. I think one email is plenty. Finally, one of the most important things to prepare for a job interview is to practice. Again, it's like going to a gym and working on those muscles and building them over time. It doesn't happen instantly. You've got to put the work in beforehand. So that might mean having a friend that you really enjoy the company of practicing some questions with you. It might mean looking in the mirror about your body language. Spending that time practicing a job interview is the best way to do the best job you can. No one is instantly good at something because they've decided they have to do it. You got to put in a bit of work to make sure that you leave that great impression and that you can do the best job possible of showing your skills, your story, your strengths and your personality to these people in the interview room. On the worksheet now, there's some really good practice job interview questions that you can test with a mate in preparation for a job interview you might have. Okay, mates, that's it for this episode. Remember, if you do have a job interview, congratulations. Soak up the joy of having that kind of an opportunity. You've done well enough with your resume to get to the job interview stage, so be proud of yourself and then also reward yourself after that job interview. Take care, friends. We'll see you on the next episode of the StudyNT Skills Series. My name's Amy Hetherington, and good luck on finding that perfect career for you in Darwin.